Welcome back, everyone. Today we have Mr. Kanaar Bell. Kanaar describes himself as a community builder, a facilitator, and a creative writer. Welcome, Kanaar.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the introduction.
Yeah, so first time we met, I think we met via Mr. Sobaz Benjamin. You and a partner at the time were at his his non-for-profit, and you were you were talking a little about your spoken word. And so how did you get into spoken word
Yeah,
first?
for sure. We were at iMove, and it's pretty wild. I learned through doing a lot of the time through my time in university. So all the titles, creative writer, community builder, facilitator, I more so identify with those for other people, right? But there's a variety of things that I do, right? And it's all based in community development. So the time that me and my business partner Andreas Robinson, my brother, we were at iMove. That's where I met you as well. We were actually hosting different interviews, right? We started our own interview series called Our Journey of Voices 2017. And Sobaz was definitely one of the people that we wanted to interview. And that's how this connection was made already, right? So around that time as well, right before the new year had started. So maybe 2016 moving into 2017 there. I was born in Calgary, moved to Ontario, and then came out here to Nova Scotia. So I was pretty far away from my family. So I spent that Christmas here in Nova Scotia by myself, and I really got back into writing. I was really focused on football beforehand. The writing was really empowering for me, and I started sharing it with friends. And then I got encouraged by those friends to go share it in the community, and that's what kind of brought life to spoken word for me.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot about soul talk. So for the audience who doesn't know or isn't aware, what is soul talk? Tell us a little bit about soul talk.
Absolutely. And when you say it, hopefully like a definition comes to you innately as well, right? But for me, soul talk is letting your soul breathe, letting that whisper guide your footsteps and really honing the lessons that you go through, right? Not just forgetting about them, shoving them down or ignoring them, but honing those lessons so you can become a better you. In terms of exercising that in a business sense, it's a form of personal development that I use to enhance the learner journey, where people can, discover their voice, the power of their voice through storytelling, creative writing, and appreciative inquiry, right? So that's kind of getting together with people in your community, your group, your workplace, whatever it is, and focusing on the strengths and the stories that people bring to the table.
That sounds great. And I guess this is a part of your community building initiative.
Exactly that. See, now the dots are starting to connect there.
Okay, I know you recently collaborated with CBC on a project, the East Coast Poetry Club. What is that? And tell us a little about that. Like, what did you
Yeah,
do with CBC?
for sure. Thank you very much for that. I never told anybody this story actually, but I'm gonna go back a little bit if that's all right. In the summer, thank you. In the summer, I was working for a very highly respected nonprofit that had me traveling around the summer and traveling around all of Nova Scotia in the summer. Sorry, and I was delivering workshops on entrepreneurship education. And actually, I had to come back to the city one time because there was an open mic that CBC was hosting, and this is the first I was hearing of it. And me thinking, planting seeds so that those seeds can grow in the future, I thought, let me go to this open mic. It's another step along my journey, speak my piece, and hopefully that forms a relationship. So I did that in the summer. I performed spoken word piece raw. Later on, down the line around the fall, CBC reached out and said, hey, we'd love to, work with you on a project, a video project to create raw. And we worked with an animator and my good friend, yeah, for a videographer, and we created this amazing project together. And then that's what led to being featured on the East Coast Poetry Club, which is a new initiative for people to kind of stay involved and let their soul talk during this time, right? So I just shared another poem for that as well.
Okay, and the poem that you shared was "Make Your Own Noise." Is that correct?
That is correct.
Could you share a little bit of that with us if you're comfortable? Just a little bit.
Sure, sure.
Put you
So
on the spot.
yeah, I was hoping to share something. This poem was from a little while ago when I first started really getting heavy into performing. Um, it starts with, how many of us can say we truly trust ourselves? Ain't that the biggest battle? But once you do, you feel more like you than you ever felt as you learn to take strength in your roots and stand in your truth. See, your acceptance is only the starting point to blazing your personal path aligned with where you're truly meant to be. It's when we feel good about ourselves, recognize what made us feel that way, and take full responsibility to keep that up, that we stumble upon that dream deterred and put it back on track, because this time around, we got more courage. So that's just a little first part of it, snap it up, snap it up.
Like I got into the rhythm. Like you have this rhythmic way of speaking. Like it's really amazing now. That's
Love
really
it.
good.
Thank you so much. I had to. I used to love rapping and performing when I was younger, and I've always been one for the lyrics. Wherever I'm at, I can always write. But the beats was another learning curve for me that didn't come till later on in life. So I learned to kind of find that rhythm with my voice, natural voice.
Yeah. So, question: who or what inspires you? Because you seem to be very motivated. Who inspires you, or what inspires you?
Absolutely. I got to go back to Mama Bear. In terms of who, right? Very strong family sense in where I come from. I'm a first generation Canadian, and my mom comes from Jamaica. So kind of seeing her navigate this land and, triumph over different obstacles. I honed in on the soft skills that are really important to kind of push me further along in life. So that part of my identity is the who that inspires me. And where are you from as well?
I'm from the Bahamas, so right, we have Caribbean roots. Yeah.
You know it, right? And I love it. There's just kind of like a vibe with island people, I feel, right? So I'm happy I was able to keep that alive. In terms of what inspires me, there's a lot of different experiences that people go through. Like first generation experience might not be talked about too much, but it's an experience that colors my whole world. It's a perspective that colors my whole world, and everybody has their own experience that colors their world. So I feel being a trailblazer and letting that perspective take the stage and also feed into how you learn, how you express yourself, work in teams is hugely beneficial. So that's really what I'm trying to champion right now. And the way I can do it creatively is through spoken words. So I'm rolling with what I got.
That's great. That's a great answer. So, question for you: where do you want to go with this, your brand, and what you're doing? So, let's just jump 5 years ahead. What do you hope to accomplish, or where do you hope to be in like 5 years time?
Yes, yes. 5 years from now, point blank, I see myself traveling because I'm incredibly curious. I love exploring different cultures, different ways of living. So I see myself traveling to deliver keynotes on experiential learning, facilitate workshops around social and emotional learning and how that can feed into your career development, and creating different initiatives and programs that just enhance the learner experience. When I was younger, I didn't really know what I want to do. I put all my hopes into football, and you'll ask any of my best friends during university. You can find me up at night, always looking up on job boards or whatever, taking career quizzes like what's right for me. I don't know what's right for me. And now the workforce is kind of shifting, whereas instead of I'm trying to fit a certain place, I can let my skills kind of rise up to the surface. And that makes me an asset to any company that I'm a part of. And it also helps kind of help me refine what Soul Talk is and why taking a stance and ownership in your skills is really the place to be right now.
Great. That's a great answer. I really like that. So, how are you coping right now in this pandemic? Everybody is like inside, and so how are you staying like motivated? And because at first I was freaking out.
Yeah.
As you can see, I cut my hair.
I see it. I see
I
it.
had to lighten up. So everybody is like doing something different. So how are you coping in this time?
I love that. I love that. Change is right. I mean, you got to make some kind of change, I feel, and that's what I've really been voicing across all different media channels or whatever I'm creating, is that right now is a time of immense change, not just physically, but internally as well. So for me, I've just been really, I hit a pause for a second instead of just always kind of moving forward. And I'm going back to the drawing board around what I want Soul Talk to do now. How is it transitioning from what it was to what it is, what's going to be, what skills do I need to learn? So I'm back to learning. I just went to virtual workshop with Ross Simmons and Robert Newcomb from Barrington Consulting yesterday, talking about productivity, right, and content marketing, right? So I'm just exposing myself to different challenges and trying to get out of the comfort zone. And in the home, I used to be a little bit of a workaholic. but I got a strong partner to help me kind of focus back on health and just having fun, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this has been a great conversation so far. What advice, and you've been doing a lot, and you're doing a lot at a very young age. So, for like the young entrepreneurs who are coming up, just starting out and trying to find their way, what advice would you give them on how to kind of begin or start to navigate?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd love to hear what you have to say with this as well after what I say. But the two things that came to mind initially is my track record at university. I went out into the community, the campus community, and external community of Halifax, which I did not know at the time,
Right.
to find places that I was passionate about. At the time, I was really passionate about working with youth, and I still am. Definitely heavier back then, so I pounded the pavement, right? Go out and find what you want to do. In university, people don't know, I studied like 3 4 different disciplines. Even though I graduated with psychology, I studied
Mhm.
all these different disciplines beforehand just because I was curious and I didn't want to feel like I was putting all my eggs into one basket at one point. But I realized in the end, that's kind of what you have to do once you find out where you want to be.
Yeah.
Secondly, it is something that my fiance said to me the other day, and it's that you're not gonna find exactly what you're searching for because it's your vision. You might find pieces of it,
Yeah.
right? You won't find exactly what you're searching for. And I spent the last year or so just kind of going with this change within my entrepreneurship journey, really looking for, what I wanted to see. I was like experiential learning programs with creative expression. Is there any poetry? What exists already? And she kind of just sat me down the other day and said, it doesn't exist already because it's your vision. So that's what I would offer to young entrepreneurs as well, is just believe in your vision. And people say this all the time, honor the process. So that means, you got to learn to be patient. You got to take the stairs sometimes, accept the mistakes, but the people that grow with you are going to grow with you. Like, for example, you and I met 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But look now, right? So I just believe in kind of honoring the process, and I'm starting to respect my own vision a lot more. How about you, though? I know you had your
Well,
own
I mean, I've had a quite a long journey. Well, I left home in my like as an adult. I packed up, left the Bahamas, and went back to school at a very middle age
Still,
uh,
you do that.
to
That's
pursue
big.
a new dream. But I would say, I mean, curiosity is one for sure. Like I was always curious about this or that. Like I worked in a profession. I made a lot of money and I met a lot of people, but I was not, I knew that I always wanted to come back into storytelling and writing and all that. So it's just me trying to find my way back to that because sometimes you get distracted by all the other stuff, like the money and the lifestyle, and be like, and I just had a moment and I stopped and I was like, what are you doing, Erica? Is this really what you want to do? Is this what you want to build? So that curiosity of chasing and going after what I wanted, and also I had to, like, for me, having a support system having is so important. And like I've been fortunate enough to have like really supportive immediate family. Like my sisters are like they're my tutors, and they're all younger than me, but they've taught me so much, and I can like go back and forth with them. I also have some really good friends that I've had for years. So they're like I can voice my ideas and they give me real good feedback. And then also finding a community of people. It could be a very small community that you can actually share your ideas with and get good feedback. I mean, for me, it's having that support, having that curiosity, and you have to have work ethic, man. You can't just want to go out there and build something. Discipline is serious, and with discipline comes action. You can't just, oh, I want to do this and I want to. No, you got to actually get out there, as you say, pound the pavement. Talk
Yeah,
to people. When I came here, like nobody knew me, and I would go and I would introduce myself to people, and they're like, "Who's this person? Like, where is she coming from?" I'm like, "Hi, American New Standards," and yeah. So I had this whole spiel, but I was like, I'm going to meet you and you don't have to talk to me, but I'm going to talk to you anyway. So
absolutely.
yeah, so have to be disciplined and motivated and action. You have to take action. I mean, you're going to make mistakes, but everybody makes mistakes. Sometimes the best things come from mistakes. So
Exactly.
that would
Right.
be that would be my little advice there. My
I
spiel.
can't. We need to start a podcast or something or write about this. I'm feeling inspired already, but that's so true. The action, right? Got to take action regardless of what works and what doesn't. Just got to keep it moving.
Yeah, so this has been a really good little chat. Like I so enjoyed this, and the time went by so quickly. I'm looking at the time like, what? Yeah. So, is there anything else before we leave that you would like to share with us? Anything else?
Let your soul talk.
I
Let your
love
soul
this.
talk. That is all I can wrap it up into. You know, I mean, everyone goes through different phases, especially right now we're going through a different phase, but don't be discouraged, right? If you're feeling discouraged, if you're feeling down in the pit, it's because you need to change something about your life. So, you know, look inside, look outside, talk to your support community, whoever it might be, and take action, right? That's
Amen.
all I say.
Well, thank you so much, Kana. Thank you for talking with us, and
Thank you.
we'll catch up soon.
Yes, I'm gonna see you around. Who knows?
For sure. For sure.
All right, I appreciate you.
You too, man. And you keep doing what you're doing.
Likewise, Storybook Entertainment.
Thank you.